Chekhov. Chekhov is the founder and the first leader of the Freedom faction, which mission is to open the zone to the world. During the Clear Sky storyline, he is the incumbent leader of the faction, but in 2012, he is replaced by Lukash. Chekhov arrived in the zone immediately after the second mission, along with Shchukin. They decided to found a group using the proceeds from the sale of artifacts, which were very expensive at the time. Soon, the group began to grow and gain strength. The young group's base was in an old factory and the surrounding area in the Dark Valley. Gradually, Freedom began to gain influence and became one of the largest groups in the zone. In 2011, the Great Emission occurred, which changed the zone's anomalous landscape for many months and disrupted the existing stability. A war between the groups for new territory began. Under Chekhov, S.T.A.L.K.E.R formed conflict with duty was first raised, after which Freedom entered the war, with Chekhov serving as commander-in-chief. He's also sent expeditions to the northern territories, military warehouses, and the city of Limansk. Due to attacks on the group's fighters, a quarantine was declared at the base, which also restricted visits by the leader. S.T.A.L.K.E.R. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is the leader of a large expeditionary force of Freedom in the vicinity of Jupiter. S.T.A.L.K.E.R had been friends with the future leaders of Freedom even before the zone's formation. However, when he went to the zone to retrieve artifacts, he encountered them and other many acquaintances within the group's ranks and eventually joined it. After Brain Scorcher's disablement, he and his squad managed to break through to the zone's center. The Freedom members established themselves in a S.T.A.L.K.E.R camp at Yaniv Station. Soon, a squad from the duty group, led by Lieutenant Colonel Shulga, arrived. They attempted to drive Freedom out of Yaniv, but during the battle, a duty member nicknamed Zulu sensed an approaching surge. Both squads took refuge at the station and decided to make it neutral territory. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is located in his office in Yaniv's Freedom side. He participates in several side quests, and depending with whom you side, duty, freedom, or non-aligned, you will get a special ending with S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Lukash. Lukash is the leader of Freedom during the events of Shadow of Chernobyl. He is located in the military base in the army warehouses. When Miklucha, having assembled a detachment, secretly advanced on the Scorcher, Lukash became the leader of the group, believing Miklucha was already dead. Under Lukash, the group grew even stronger, fortifying and occupying strategically important positions such as the military base, the barrier, and after the Brain Scorcher was shut down, several areas near the Jupiter plant. The group's base was well fortified. Snipers were stationed in observation towers and patrols guarded the base perimeter. It was Lukash who insisted that taking positions in the army depots was a high priority. Under Chekhov, the Freedom members recaptured the base from the military, and under Lukash, the group began to gain prestige. The group's membership was partially replenished as soon matched that of the duty faction. Moreover, under Lukash, a detachment led by Captain was created, whose primary combat mission was to hold the barrier checkpoint. Lukash isn't the key character in the Shadow of Chernobyl plot, but when you meet him, you can inform him of the threat posed by the duty members on the farm near the military base, and also accept quests. Otherwise, Lukash himself may become an assassination target. Miklucha. Miklucha is absent from the game. However, members of the Freedom and Duty talk about him and his deeds. He is referred to as the main guy from Freedom, implying that he was the leader before Lukash. He and his group were found a month after disappearing. He made it past the Brain Scorcher prior to its disabling, and managed to keep every single one of his men alive. Miklucha, sometimes after Call of Pripyat, became Freedom's leader. After assuming control, Miklucha would begin to steer Freedom from its anarchist ideals and more towards anarcho-capitalism. Once Rostock was succeeded to Freedom in 2014, he quickly turned it into the zone's main trading hub, creating the Bazaar and setting up trade deals with factions around the zone. He was responsible for the creation of coupons, a digital currency that quickly replaced the ruble and the zone's main currency. While the D4 treaty prevented Duty and Freedom from attacking each other directly, both factions are engaged in a proxy war, with Miklucha controlling the Brood, a bandit group run by Shah that's attempting to seize control of the slug heap from the Diggers. The Brood ends up in a constant conflict with the duty-backed commissary, who attempts to have the same goal. In the game, Miklucha can be met on the top of the bazaar's roof, accessible from the staircase inside the bazaar itself. He doesn't do much outside of telling the player about Rostock. He's more tense following the signal, as the world is both weakened and preoccupied with the monoliths to uphold the D4 treaty, allowing the war between Duty and Freedom to restart. Leshy. Leshy is the leader of a group based in Red Forests during the events of Clear Sky. and during the events of Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, he becomes the main Freedom Guard. In 2011, the mercenary Leshy signed a contract to retrieve a valuable artifact for an influential company. Despite misgivings, he agreed to the task because of the substantial sum. The mercenaries managed to retrieve the artifact, but near the barrier, the squad first narrowly escaped a large emission, and then found themselves in a spatial bubble. Leshy's squad of mercenaries spent several days inside the anomaly, sending radio messages for help. Despite interference, fragments of the messages were detected at the area of the military warehouses. A squad of the mercenary HUD was sent to their aid. The situation for Leshy's group was close to critical. Some of Leshy's mercenaries suggested committing suicide to escape the torment, while others were already beginning to hallucinate, but the mercenary S.T.A.L.K.E.R managed to send coordinates that allowed the group to escape the anomaly. Soon after their rescue, Leshy's group headed to the outskirts of Lemansk, to the bridge between the Red Forest and Lemansk. With the support of the Clear Sky group, the mercenaries managed to lower the bridge, which had been captured by renegades, and escape the city. Already in 2012, he became one of the main Freedom Guards, and equipped with an exoskeleton, he guards the entrance of the Freedom's base, located in the army warehouses. Kostian is a veteran stalker and exoskeleton operator. He is the leader of Freedom in the army warehouses during the events of Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, tasked with eliminating the Spetsnaz remnants in the base in order to claim the military base for the faction and secure the barrier to prevent invading mutants or returning Monolith from overrunning the rest of the zone. He is friends with Hog, a mercenary commander who saved his life. Kostian's strike team helps S.T.A.L.K.E.R reach the transmitter inside the base and give the coordinates of an RPG-7U near the direct tank near the base entrance. In doing this, he also manages to secure the army warehouses for Freedom, which becomes their base in later titles. Up until the most recent game, he uses an SA Avalanche and a Black Kite pistol. There's also slight chance that Kostian will be killed while fighting the military by either the sniper or being overrun by numerous military troops. In the event he survives, he will give a stash location and hold the army warehouses for the rest of the game, as the place becomes a sort of Freedom settlement. Rarely, his camp may be attacked by mutants, so he might provide missions to help him.